The wind did not sound like wind. It scraped, dry and low, like sand dragged across old metal. Asha Thalen stopped at the edge of the trees. Her basket hung light against her hip. Too light for this walk. The ground ahead was cracked, split into long pale scars. Nothing grew there anymore. Not after the long dry seasons. She heard coughing. Not from the trees. From the lean shelter behind her. 5 children. All of them awake. Asha turned back once, then forced herself forward. Water did not come from waiting. Something dark lay near the broken ridge. At first, she thought it was debris. Metal scraps fell often after distant fights in the sky. Then it moved. Asha froze. Her breath slowed. Her hand found the stone knife at her belt. The shape groaned. A human sound. Low, broken. She approached one careful step at a time. The figure wore torn armor, scorched and split open. Dried blood marked the seams. A man. Still breathing. She crouched and watched his chest. The rise was shallow. Too slow. Asha whispered to herself, barely a sound. Not a prayer. A calculation. If she left him, he would die before sunset. If she helped him, trouble would follow her home. She scanned the sky through the thin canopy. Nothing moved above. No lights, no shadows. Behind her, another cough echoed from the shelter. A child tried to hide it. Failed. Asha cursed under her breath. Softly, carefully. She dragged the man by his shoulders. The armor scraped stone, loud in the quiet air. She paused after every pull, listening. His eyes fluttered open once. Unfocused, dry. Water, he said. Asha did not answer. She did not have words for this yet. She pulled him into the trees, where leaves still clung to branches. The light dimmed there. Cooler, safer. She laid him down near a fallen trunk. His armor was heavy, too heavy for her. She left it half on, half torn. The wound along his side seeped slowly. Not fast enough to kill him. Not slow enough to ignore. Asha crushed leaves between her palms. Green sap coated her fingers. She pressed it against the wound. The man groaned again. His jaw clenched. Still alive. She reached for her flask. The one she carried for emergencies. The one she had promised herself not to use. She tipped it just enough. One swallow. No more. The man drank greedily, then choked. She pulled it away at once. No, she said. Her voice was firm. Final. He stared at her, confused. Then his eyes closed again. Hours later, the light shifted. The air grew heavier. The heat settled in. Asha checked on him again. His breathing was steadier. His skin was still hot. She stood and looked back toward the shelter. 5 thin shapes waited there. Watching her. She waved once. A signal they all knew. Stay. The smallest one, Sarah, stepped forward anyway. Bare feet on cracked earth. Big eyes fixed on the flask. Asha knelt beside her. She did not scold. She never did. She let Sarah drink a single mouthful. Then another child. Then another. Each sip measured. Each pause deliberate. The man stirred as they drank. His eyes opened again. This time, he watched. What are you doing? He asked. His voice was rough. Dry as the land. Sharing, Asha said. He tried to sit up. Failed. Fell back with a sharp breath. She pressed a hand to his shoulder. Not gentle. Not cruel. Stay, she said. The children watched him now. Not afraid. Curious. Leo, the second youngest, stared at the flask. Not at the man. At the water. Asha followed his gaze. Her chest tightened. She understood then. This was no longer about saving a stranger. It was about keeping a balance. She capped the flask and tied it back to her belt. The sound was final. As evening crept closer, the wind softened. The coughing slowed. The shelter fell quiet. Asha sat between the man and her family, guarding both, unable to protect either completely. She looked at the man once more. At his torn armor. At his dry lips. In that moment, she knew the truth. She had already paid the first price. And the debt had only begun. Ethan woke to the sound of careful breathing. Not his own. 5 rhythms. Uneven. Close. He opened his eyes and stayed still. Pain flared along his side, then settled into a dull burn. Asha knelt a short distance away. She held a small container between her hands. Not metal. Not plastic. Water. She poured it slowly into a shallow cup. One portion. Then another. She passed the cup to the tallest boy first. Then the next. Always the same order. No one asked for more. No one rushed. Ethan watched in silence. His mouth dried at the sight. You count, he said. Asha did not look at him. I remember, she replied. The smallest child stared at Ethan's belt. At the hard shape clipped there. At the faint light pulsing beneath dust and scratches. Ethan followed the child's gaze. His breath caught. The filter. The indicator glowed once. Then again. Soft, almost polite. He reached for it and stopped halfway. Too fast would draw eyes. Even here. Asha noticed at once. She moved closer, quiet as a shadow. What is that? She asked. Water, Ethan said. Then corrected himself. Help. She waited. Not impatient. Not trusting either. He unclipped the filter and held it low, shielded by his body. The light dimmed as his hand covered it. It makes bad water less bad, he said. That is all you need to know. Her jaw tightened. And the rest, she said. Ethan hesitated. Then spoke carefully. It remembers where it is. Asha's eyes lifted to the trees. To the sky beyond. Who remembers? She asked. Systems, he said. People who follow the systems. She did not ask more. She did not need to. Asha glanced at the children. They watched the filter now, not the man. She shook her head once. Not here, she said. Ethan nodded. He loosened a panel along the side of the device. Not fully. Just enough. The light stuttered. Flickered. It will slow things, he said. Not stop them. Asha pressed the panel closed with her thumb. Her touch was firm. We slow, she said. That is all we ever do. As the afternoon stretched on, the air shifted. The heat eased. The quiet sharpened. A low hum passed overhead. So faint it could be mistaken for wind. Asha's head snapped up. Down, she whispered. The children flattened instantly. No questions. No fear sounds. Ethan rolled onto his side. Teeth clenched. Pain flared, then dulled. Through the leaves, a dark shape slid across the sky. No lights. No markings. It did not stop. It did not search. It listened. The hum faded. Slowly. Minutes passed. No one moved. When Asha finally breathed again, it was shallow. Does it see us? She asked. Ethan shook his head. Not yet. She looked at the filter in his hand. Then at her children. Then back at him. This thing, she said, keeps you alive. Yes, Ethan replied. And it brings death closer, she added. He did not deny it. Asha reached out and took the filter. She turned it once, then handed it back. We hide it, she said. Together. Ethan met her gaze. For the first time, she did not look like a rescuer. She looked like a partner in a crime neither of them had chosen. As evening crept in, the wind returned. Softer now. Patient. The filter stayed dark. For the moment. The dry days stacked together. Each morning felt thinner than the last. Asha led Ethan closer to the village at first light. They moved between low brush and broken stone. Quiet, measured. Thalen Reach appeared as a scatter of shelters and lines. People waited with empty containers. Faces turned toward the sky, not each other. Asha kept Ethan behind a screen of reeds. She checked the children first. 5 nods, all present. The air carried a faint hiss. Condensation nets stretched between poles. They caught little. They always did. A man argued over a half cup of dew. Another woman shook her head and walked away. No shouting. Shouting wasted breath. Asha watched the exchange and counted. Not cups. Minutes. By mid-morning, the sound arrived. Not engines. Footsteps. 3 figures walked in from the east path. Clean boots. Uniform packs. They did not carry weapons in their hands. They carried tablets and seals. Asha felt the village tighten. Not fear. Expectation. One of the visitors smiled and raised a palm. A practiced gesture. We are here to help, he said. His voice was calm. Well trained. He placed sealed bags on a crate. Clear liquid inside. Measured volumes. Hydra line distribution, he continued. Community relief. No one stepped forward. Not yet. The man tapped his tablet. Terms appeared. Simple words. Short lines. Temporary allocation, he said. Labor credit, site access. Asha read from a distance. Her jaw set. Someone asked a question. Quiet, careful. How much water? The voice said. The man smiled again. Enough, he replied. For those who cooperate. He gestured toward the nets. Toward the cracked ground. We improve conditions, he said. We ask for commitment. Asha felt Ethan shift behind her. She did not turn. Another representative spoke. We log distribution, she said. Fairness requires records. Asha understood. Records meant names. Names meant chains. A child stepped forward with a container. Small hands. Too light. The bag was filled halfway. No more. Asha watched the seal close. Heard the soft click. She saw the rule clearly now. Water was not sold. It was leased. She glanced back toward the reeds. Toward Ethan. Toward the hidden filter. If Hydra Line saw it, they would take it. If they took it, they would mark the village. If they marked the village, nothing would remain private. The representative looked around. His eyes were kind. His smile did not fade. Participation is voluntary, he said. Asha almost laughed. She did not. She stepped forward and took a bag. Her name was recorded. Her mark accepted. She turned away without speaking. Her hands were steady. As the sun dipped, the visitors packed their crates. The bags were fewer now. The tablets full. They left on foot. No threat. No warning. Hours later, the village grew quiet again. The bags were hidden. The nets hung empty. Asha returned to the reeds. Ethan met her eyes. They do not kill, he said. No, Asha replied. They decide. Night settled over Thalen Reach. Time moved on. Water did not increase. Asha tightened the covering over Ethan and the filter. Her choice was clear. Hiding was no longer caution. It was defiance. Morning came thin and pale. Not cooler. Just quieter. Ethan could stand again. Not straight. But steady enough. He rebuilt the fire pit with Asha's stones. Lower walls. Tighter gaps. Smoke thinned. Fuel lasted longer. Asha watched without praise. She noticed the result. That was enough. He showed her how to angle the pots. Not higher. Closer to the heat. Water warmed faster. Less steam escaped. The children waited. No rushing. No grabbing. Rin's cheeks held color longer now. Myra's hands shook less. Kesh stopped coughing at dawn. Small changes. Too visible. By late morning, Asha counted the containers again. Same number. Different weight. Less lost, Ethan said. Asha nodded once. Her eyes stayed on the ground. They worked in short bursts. Rest. Sip. Wait. By noon, the shelter smelled clean. Not rich. Just safe. Hours later, the wind shifted. The air felt pressed flat. Asha paused with a cup in her hand. She listened. Nothing moved nearby. No steps. No voices. Ethan felt it too. That quiet that did not belong. He scanned the tree line. Nothing obvious. Nothing kind. Stay close, he said. They did. The filter stayed hidden. Wrapped. Dark. Yet the children drank a little more. Only a little. By afternoon, shadows shortened. Heat sharpened. Asha noticed the change first. A wrong kind of stillness. She placed a hand over Sarah's mouth. Not fear. Habit. Above the canopy, a faint shape crossed. No sound this time. Just absence. It passed once. Then again. Ethan did not move. Pain held him still. Does it see us? Asha asked. Not directly, he said. Not yet. She did not ask how he knew. She trusted the tone. Minutes stretched. Then eased. The shape did not return. As evening came, the children slept deeper. Bellies quiet. Breathing even. Asha counted again. Water left for one more day. Maybe two. That was the problem. Elsewhere, light filled a clean room. Soft. Even. Sable core stood before a wall of numbers. No names. Only patterns. A cluster pulsed faintly. Then again. She leaned closer. Not hurried. Flag it, she said. A technician adjusted the view. The cluster sharpened. Variance is small, he said. Enough, Sable replied. She watched the curve rise by a hair. Then settle. Not emergency, she said. Not aid. Her finger traced a boundary. A quiet one. Retrieve, she ordered. Prevent precedent. The technician hesitated. Civilian proximity, he said. Sable did not look away. Controlled, she said. A still image froze on the wall. Trees. Rough shelter. A figure with torn armor. Unregistered. Sable's mouth curved slightly. Not a smile. Confirmed, she said. We have inventory. Night fell on Thalen Reach. Time moved forward. The signal stayed. The system had seen them. They arrived at mid-morning. Not loud. Not armed. 2 carriers rolled in first. White seals. Blue markings. A third person followed, smiling. Hands open. Voice calm. Hydra line distribution, he said. Temporary relief. Asha felt the village shift. Not fear. Hope pressed thin. He placed the containers on a clean mat. Measured units. Clear liquid. Enough for children, he said. Enough to stabilize. People stepped closer. Slowly. Respectfully. Asha stayed back. She counted the seals. Ethan stood behind her. Close enough to whisper. They will ask for something, he said. She nodded. Of course they would. The man tapped his tablet. A short list appeared. Simple words. Participation is voluntary, he said. Asha watched his eyes. They did not blink. A woman asked a careful question. For how long, she said. The man smiled again. As needed. He gestured to the containers. Support requires cooperation. Another representative spoke, softer. Work assignments, she said. Community benefit. Asha stepped forward. Her children gathered behind her without being called. The man noticed at once. He tilted the tablet. You have dependents, he said. Priority allocation applies. He turned the screen so she could see. A line highlighted. Labor credit equals asset registration. Asha read it twice. Then again. And travel, she asked. The second representative answered. Restricted, she said. For safety. Asha felt Ethan tense. You cannot leave, Ethan said. The man did not deny it. During allocation, he replied. A container was opened. A seal broke with a soft sound. Water poured into a child's cup. Half full. Exact. Sarah reached for more. The cup was taken back gently. Standard, the man said. Hours later, the sun pressed down harder. The containers were fewer. The list was longer. Asha watched names added. Marks recorded. A boy signed for his father. A woman signed for her sister. Asha did not move. The man approached her again. His voice lowered. With your household, he said. The benefit is significant. He looked at the children. One by one. We can guarantee stability, he said. Ethan leaned close. Once signed, he said. They own your work. Asha looked at the water. Then at the ground. What work? She asked. Seasonal, the man replied. Flexible. He did not say where. He did not say how. Asha understood anyway. She imagined the slow math. Water now. Years later unknown. She imagined running. Across the dry belt. No reserve. No shade. She turned to Ethan. You would take us, she said. He did not answer at once. He could not lie. We would not make it, he said. The man waited. Patient. As afternoon faded, the last container was sealed. The mat was folded. The offer remained. Asha stepped back. Her children clung to her legs. I do not fear dying, she said to Ethan. Her voice did not shake. I fear watching them die slowly. The man heard. He said nothing. The tablet stayed open. Waiting. As dusk settled, the village fell quiet. Time passed. Water did not increase. Night carried little relief. The heat stayed. At first light, Sable Core stood before the same wall. The cluster pulsed brighter now. Persistent. She did not raise her voice. She did not lean back. Escalate, she said. A channel opened. Clean, secure. Major Len Voss appeared on the screen. Straight posture. No greeting. Asset loss, Sable said. Civilian proximity. Voss glanced at the data. Once. Enough. Probability of recovery, he asked. High, Sable replied. Precedent risk unacceptable. Voss nodded. No comment. Proceed, he said. Controlled sweep. The channel closed. Hours later, the forest changed. Not sound. Pattern. Ethan felt it first. A pressure behind the eyes. Asha noticed next. Birds lifted together. Then went silent. The hum returned. Closer now. Layered. One passed above the canopy. Then another. Then a third. They did not hover. They mapped. Asha pulled the children under cover. Low. Still. Ethan counted passes. Angles. Intervals. They are narrowing, he said. By midday, the paths vanished. The forest felt shallow. Leaves trembled without wind. Dust rose in thin lines. Asha touched the filter, hidden and cold. She did not remove it. Who are they? She asked. Not police, Ethan said. Not aid. A crackle moved through the trees. Short commands. Directional. A figure stepped into view. Armor intact. Unmarked. He raised a hand. Not threatening. Final. Major Len Voss stood at the edge of the clearing. He did not scan the children. He scanned the ground. Ethan Cole, Voss said. Ethan stepped forward before Asha could stop him. Slow. Deliberate. Yes, he said. Voss's eyes flicked to the wound. Then to the shelter. You failed extraction, Voss said. I was injured, Ethan replied. Voss nodded again. As if that settled it. Return with us, Voss said. Now. Asha stepped beside Ethan. Her hand did not shake. He is resting, she said. Voss did not look at her. Civilian, he said. Stand clear. Ethan felt the weight of the word. Not a name. A category. If I go, Ethan said. They stay out of this. Voss met his gaze. Brief. Measuring. Non-compliant civilians, Voss said. Become accessories. Asha understood then. The math was simple. Ethan alone was a problem. Ethan plus shelter was an incident. He looked at the children. 5 faces. 2 calm. If I disappear, he said to Asha. Do not follow. She stared back. Hard. If you go, she said. They will come again. Voss signaled once. The hum shifted. We move, Voss said. The soldiers stepped closer. Not rushed. Certain. Ethan felt the line close. No space left. If they take me, he said softly. I am erased. Asha heard it. Every word. And if they take me, she replied. I become guilty. Voss waited. Time meant nothing to him. As dusk approached, the forest darkened early. Time pressed forward. Choices shrank. The sweep tightened. There was no path back. They left before the sun climbed. No goodbyes. No sound worth remembering. Asha tied the last strap with steady hands. 5 small packs. Too light. Too heavy. Ethan tested his footing. Pain answered first. Then balance. We move slow, he said. Asha nodded. Slow was the only speed left. The ground broke open beneath their steps. Dry plates split and shifted. Dust clung to skin. The children followed in a line. Quiet. Obedient. By mid-morning, the air pressed down. No shade. No breeze. Sarah stumbled first. Not a fall. Just a pause too long. Asha lifted her without speaking. Her breath shortened. They walked again. Then stopped. Then walked. Hours later, the sun sharpened. The horizon did not change. Rin's steps dragged. Myra's hands trembled. Ethan watched the water level. Each swallow cost something. Not like this, he said softly. Asha knew. She had known since the first crack of earth. They reached a stretch of white stone. It reflected heat upward. Cruel and clean. The children sat without being told. Heads low. Eyes dull. Asha opened the pack. 2 choices rested there. The filter. Compact. Silent. And the raw water. Heavy. Unreliable. She held the filter first. Cool metal. Promise and danger. She imagined lighter steps. Cleaner sips. Longer days. Then she looked at the children. Their lips dry. Their eyes searching her face. Raw water meant wait. But wait meant now. The filter meant later. If later came. Ethan knelt beside her. Sweat darkened his collar. I can draw them away, he said. Asha looked up sharply. You cannot, she said. I can try, he replied. She shook her head once. Hard. Mistake means losing you, she said. Ethan did not argue. He understood the math. By afternoon, the youngest cried. No tears came. Only sound. Asha poured the last cup. Measured. Shared. The water was gone. The ground did not soften. The sky did not change. Asha closed the pack. Hands slow now. She saw the truth clearly. Running was a story they told themselves. A thin one. She pressed the filter against her palm. Then set it back. She lifted the water container. Then stopped. Neither choice saved them all. The children watched her. Trust without words. Ethan waited. Not for an answer. For her. The sun began to sink. Heat lingered. Asha felt something break. Not loud. Not sharp. She turned to Ethan. Her voice stayed low. Ethan, she said. Not a warning. Not a command. A name. They did not block the path with bodies. They blocked it with shade. 2 carriers waited where the stone dipped. Clean panels. Soft edges. A woman stepped forward first. Her voice was even. Her hands empty. Hydra line, she said. Support corridor. Asha stopped. The children halted behind her. Breath shallow. Ethan felt the circle close without a sound. No raised weapons. No hurry. We are not here to threaten, the woman said. Only to offer stability. She set a container down and opened it halfway. Clear water caught the light. Measured. A child leaned forward. Asha pulled him back with 2 fingers. Terms, Asha said. The woman nodded. She tapped a slate once. Housing eligible, she said. Food supplements, water allocation. Allocation. Not supply. Ethan watched the words settle. He knew what followed words like that. And us? Asha asked. Her eyes did not leave the container. Registration, the woman replied. Labor alignment. No place. No hours. No end. Another agent stepped closer. He smiled without warmth. The unit includes dependents, he said. Priority applies. 5 pairs of eyes fixed on the water. Not on the people. Exchange, the woman continued. Device and personnel. Ethan felt the phrase land like a weight. Device meant the filter. Personnel meant him. Asha breathed once. Slow. If we refuse, she said. The woman tilted her head. Then the corridor closes. She did not say when. She did not say how. By midday, the sun stood straight overhead. The heat pressed down. The air tasted thin. Asha knelt and checked the children. Lips cracked. Hands trembling. Ethan leaned close. If I go, he said. They live. Asha did not answer. She looked at the container again. Handoff is immediate, the woman said. Allocation begins at confirmation. The slate glowed softly. Waiting. Asha imagined the future without details. Water that came on schedule. Work that never ended. She imagined the alternative. A long walk back through white stone. No shade. No reserve. Ethan reached for the filter. Asha stopped his hand. Wait, she said. She took the device herself. Held it low. Turned it once. The casing was smooth, sealed. She felt for the seam with her thumb. Please, the woman said gently. There is no need to damage property. Asha did not look up. She struck the edge against a stone. Not hard. Precise. A hairline fracture crept along the casing. The light flickered once. Then steadied. She turned the device again. Found the inner core. Shielded. Another tap. The outer shell cracked further. The core remained intact. Ethan inhaled sharply. He understood. The woman's smile thinned. Functionality may be compromised, she said. Not for them, Asha replied. She wrapped the core in cloth and slipped it into her pack. The broken casing she held out. Take this, she said. And him. Ethan stiffened. Asha met his eyes. Stay, she whispered. Not a plea. A promise she could not keep. The agents exchanged a glance. The slate chimed once. Accepted, the woman said. The container was closed. Sealed. Tagged. A cup was filled and passed to the smallest child. Half full. Exact. As afternoon bent toward evening, the air cooled slightly. Nothing else changed. Ethan stepped forward. 2 hands took his arms. Firm, professional. Asha stood still. Her hands empty now. Allocation begins, the woman said. The carriers turned back the way they came. The shade moved with them. Asha watched until the path opened again. Until the heat returned. Time slid on. Water did not increase. She tightened the cloth around the core in her pack. A thin act of refusal. A thin line of hope. By early afternoon, the light turned flat. No shade held. Major Len Voss approached without haste. No helmet. No raised voice. His boots stopped at the edge of the clearing. He did not look at the children. He looked at the ground. Procedure, he said. Asha felt the words settle like dust. Ethan stepped half a pace forward, then stopped. Voss glanced at the broken casing in Asha's hand. Then at the cloth-wrapped core in her pack. Unauthorized contact, he said. Containment applies. Asha lifted her chin. There is no sickness, she said. Voss nodded once. As a precaution, he replied. The soldiers behind him shifted. Quiet. Not threatening. Ready. Ethan spoke. You made this land dry, he said. You sell water like mercy. Voss did not answer. He checked a slate and closed it. Debate is not required, he said. Asha stepped closer to the children. She felt their heat against her legs. What happens to them? She asked. Voss looked past her. To the site, he said. Observation. How long? Ethan asked. Voss did not say. The wind lifted briefly, then fell. Leaves trembled and went still. Major, Ethan said. I am the acid you want. Voss met his eyes at last. Brief. Measuring. Correct, he said. And them, Ethan continued. Leave them out. Voss's gaze slid to the shelter. To the disturbed earth. Exposure exists, he said. Asha understood. The math was complete. If you take him, she said. You take the cause with you. Voss paused. A small thing. Almost human. Then he spoke. I only need the site clean. The words landed without weight. Without heat. The soldiers moved. 2 hands closed on Ethan's arms. Precise. Immediate. Ethan did not resist. He looked at Asha once. Keep them drinking, he said. Asha did not answer. Her mouth would not work. One soldier stepped toward the children. Voss raised a finger. Not them, he said. The soldier stopped. Asha felt the space narrow. Air pressed in. Please, she said. Not loud. Not begging. Voss turned away. The decision had passed. As dusk approached, the light dropped fast. The clearing darkened early. Ethan was guided back along the path. No cuffs. No ceremony. Asha stood where she was. Her hands empty. Her pack heavy. The children watched the man leave. They did not cry. One asked quietly. Did the water take him? Asha knelt. She pulled them close. The soldiers melted into the trees. The sound went with them. Night arrived in pieces. Time slid forward. Nothing returned. Asha tightened the cloth around the core. A thin warmth remained. She looked at the empty path. At the place where he had stood. The ground showed no marks. The site was clean. The day opened dry and patient. Heat waited without moving. They set the water on a clean table. Clear containers. Measured lines. Asha stood with the children behind her. 5 shadows. 1 breath. This is your allocation, the clerk said. His voice stayed soft. A seal broke. A cup filled halfway. Exact. The smallest child leaned forward. Asha held him back with a touch. Paper first, the clerk said. Then release. A slate slid across the table. Short lines. Plain words. Asha read slowly. Once. Again. Commitment appeared before benefit. Labor before water. She lifted her eyes. For how long? She asked. The clerk smiled without teeth. As required, he said. No place. No end. Another page appeared. Handover confirmed. Identity logged. Asha felt the trap close. Quiet. Legal. She noticed the watchers. Not guards. Witnesses. Hydra Line did not want force today. They wanted signatures. Asha glanced at the children. Dry lips. Steady trust. She read again. She counted what was missing. No threats. No punishment written. Only process. Only records. She understood then. Their fear was not loss of people. It was loss of image. If she refused, the table would stay clean. If they forced her, the story would stain. Asha let the thought settle. She breathed once. I sign, she said. The clerk nodded. A stylus appeared. Before she touched it, Asha opened her pack. Slow. Visible. She removed the wrapped core. Cloth tight. Careful hands. The clerk's eyes flicked. Then returned to the slate. Asha did not unwrap it. She did not show it. She set the bundle beside her foot. Claimed ground. She signed. One line. Steady. The slate chimed. Acceptance recorded. A container opened. Water poured again. Half cups. Measured. The children drank in order. No rush. No spill. Asha took the container last. One swallow. Enough. Allocation active, the clerk said. He did not look relieved. He looked complete. As midday passed, the table cleared. Seals closed. Records saved. Asha gathered the children. She lifted the bundle with the core. Not a weapon. A promise. She felt its weight near her chest. A second rhythm. The clerk paused. Compliance ensures continuity, he said. Asha met his eyes. Calm. Continuity needs trust, she replied. He did not answer. By late afternoon, the heat eased. Water remained measured. Asha walked home with careful steps. The children followed. She pressed the bundle closer. A quiet vow formed. This heart would keep them alive. And it would guide her back. Light came from everywhere and nowhere. No shadows survived. Ethan lay still. The air felt thin, though he could breathe. The room smelled of nothing. That was the point. A voice arrived without echo. State your role. Soldier, Ethan said. Silence followed. Then another voice. Former, it corrected. He did not argue. He watched the ceiling. Minutes passed. Or hours. Time did not explain itself here. Major Len Voss entered without ceremony. No jacket. No expression. He stood where the line on the floor ended. Did not cross it. Name, Voss said. Ethan Cole. Affiliation. None, Ethan replied. Voss glanced at a slate. Once. Closed it. Civilian contact, Voss said. Unregistered device. Ethan said nothing. Who assisted? Voss asked. No one, Ethan replied. Voss nodded. As if expecting that answer. The contact, Voss continued. Is a variable. Ethan lifted his head slightly. She is not, he said. Voss did not respond. He adjusted the angle of the slate. Variables are removed, Voss said. The room stayed quiet. Clean. Patient. Ethan felt the distance grow. Between words. Between people. He understood then. Voss did not dislike Asha. Voss did not care. You will return to processing, Voss said. What happens to them? Ethan asked. Voss paused. A brief calculation. Observation, he said. No time. No promise. Voss turned to leave. The door did not make a sound. Hours later, the light did not change. Ethan remained. He tested the edges of the rules. Not with force. With omission. He answered slowly. Repeated himself once too often. He misremembered a detail. Small. Believable. A record blinked. Then settled. He waited. By the next cycle, a check was requested. Routine. Harmless. The system disliked uncertainty. It preferred clean lines. Ethan felt the shift. Subtle. Enough. He did not try to escape. He did not call anyone. He let the process question itself. When Voss returned, his tone was unchanged. Your file requires review, he said. Ethan nodded. That was the opening. Adjust it, Ethan said. Flag me. Voss looked at him. Longer this time. Why? Voss asked. Because I am expendable, Ethan replied. Voss considered. Then tapped the slate. A mark appeared. Permanent. Your record will not recover, Voss said. I know, Ethan replied. Voss turned away. Decision complete. As the door closed, the light dimmed slightly. Or maybe Ethan imagined it. Time moved again. He lay back, breathing steady. He had not saved himself. He had not saved her. He had given the system a reason to look twice. Work repeated itself. Lift. Place. Wait. Asha learned the rhythm without asking. She learned by watching hands. By counting breaths. Each container paused at the same mark. Each pause matched a sound she could not hear. But she felt it. By midday, the heat pressed flat. Sweat dried before it fell. A slate flashed when a unit crossed the line. A short tone followed. Always the same. Asha did not rush. She never rushed. She noticed the order. Left to right. Tall to short. She noticed the gaps. Small. Predictable. Hours later, a worker swapped places. The tone came early. Then corrected itself. Asha smiled without showing teeth. By late afternoon, the cycle repeated. She adjusted her step by a hair. Not enough to be seen. The tone lagged. A blink too slow. Nothing broke. Nothing spilled. The next measure corrected harder. A longer pause. A tighter seal. That was the edge. As dusk approached, the drone passed lower. Not searching. Listening. Asha kept working. Hands steady. Face blank. She moved the container back by a finger width. No more. The tone stuttered. Once. Twice. The drone circled. Then descended. Workers froze. No one spoke. Asha set the container down and stepped away. Obedient. Invisible. Checks followed. Quiet. Careful. While attention bent toward the meters, Asha walked the other way. Slow. Aloud. The access door accepted her mark. Not her name. Inside, the air felt cooler. Still. She followed the line she had memorized. Left. Right. Pause. The corridor opened onto glass. Clean. Thick. Ethan stood beyond it. Still. Upright. He looked thinner. But present. Asha stopped a step back. No touch. No wave. Ethan lifted his eyes. He saw her at once. They did not speak. Asha placed her palm against the glass. Flat. Warm. Ethan mirrored it. Separated by clarity. The drone rose again above them. The check concluded. Somewhere far above, attention shifted. The smallest deviation logged. Reviewed. Asha stepped back before she was called. Before she was missed. She returned to the floor. Lift. Place. Wait. The drone climbed. The cycle resumed. Night came with a softer heat. Time moved faster now. Asha finished her shift. She walked home with measured steps. In her pack, the wrapped core rested close. Quiet. Steady. She did not steal water. She stole time. Across the glass, Ethan watched the corridor empty. He breathed easier for the first time that day. They had chosen again. Without words. The alert reached Sable Core as a pale line across a quiet screen. She did not lean closer. She did not frown. She simply watched the numbers settle. Water throughput in the eastern dry belt had risen by a margin too small to celebrate. Yet too steady to ignore. Consumption curves bent upward. Child intake stabilized. Loss rates fell. Sable folded her hands and waited for the confirmation window to close. When it did, the system labeled the pattern with a neutral phrase. Irregular cooperative behavior. She tapped once. The word change. Non-compliant cluster. Hours later, as the sun climbed over the cracked flats, the village wells ran dry. No alarms sounded. No sirens warned them. The spigots simply stopped. Asha was carrying a clay jug when she heard the first shout. It came from the far end of the settlement, sharp with disbelief. Another voice followed, then another. She set the jug down and felt the weight in her chest before she reached the pump. Nothing came out. She pressed the handle again. Harder this time. Dust puffed up around her feet. The pipe coughed once and fell silent. Around her, people gathered, Some tried other taps. Some shook their containers as if the water might answer. Mothers lifted cups to dry mouths and lowered them again. By midday, the heat pressed closer. A drone descended into view. Slow and deliberate, it hovered above the center of the village, its shadow sliding across roofs and bare ground. A calm voice flowed from its speakers. Hydra line operations have detected a violation of regional water compliance. Distribution is suspended pending corrective action. Asha felt eyes turn toward her. Not all at once. Not with anger. With fear. The voice continued. Compliance requires the surrender of the individual responsible for unauthorized filtration activity. Upon surrender, provisional water access will be restored. No names were spoken. They did not need to be. Asha stood still. She felt the heat against her neck and the dry wind on her lips. She looked at the faces around her and understood what she saw. They were not judging her. They were measuring her. A man she had known since childhood stepped back. A woman pulled her toddler closer. An elder lowered his gaze, as if ashamed of the calculation forming in his mind. Asha raised her hands, not in defense, but to steady herself. I did not take water from you, she said. Her voice was calm. I only made less waste. No one answered. The drone hovered lower. Hydra Line seeks cooperation to ensure community safety. Safety. The word hung in the air, dry and empty. As the afternoon stretched on, lips cracked, children stopped playing, the quiet grew thick. Asha felt a small tug at her side. One of her youngest siblings looked up at her, eyes wide, mouth dry. Another pressed close behind, then another. 5 small bodies gathered around her legs, drawn by habit and need. She knelt slowly. It will be all right, she said, though she did not know how. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Not cruel, not loud, just enough. They need water. The words were not spoken aloud, yet Asha heard them clearly. By dusk, the air cooled but the thirst did not. The drone remained. Its lights blinked at steady intervals. Asha stood and turned toward the open space where the drone hovered. She did not walk forward yet. She looked back once. The villagers did not meet her eyes. They could not afford to. One of the children tugged her sleeve and spoke, barely above a whisper. Mom. The word was new. Not rehearsed. Not emotional. It landed with quiet weight. Asha closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, something had settled inside her. She stepped forward. Behind her, the village breathed in, together. Above them, the drone adjusted its position, already preparing to transmit confirmation. Night fell slowly. The water did not return yet. Ethan read the report slowly. The room was quiet enough to hear his own breathing. Clean air. Filtered light. The text scrolled in measured blocks. Operational deviation. Unauthorized equipment loss. Civilian exposure risk. Every line was written to sound reasonable. He reached the final section and stopped. Responsibility attribution. The cursor blinked, patient. Hours earlier, the guard had told him the village was without water. Not permanently. Conditionally. Ethan closed his eyes for a moment. He thought of cracked ground. Of small hands holding cups. Of Asha counting sips without looking at the children's faces. He opened his eyes and read the attribution options again. Equipment mishandling by field operator. Failure to secure asset during combat descent. Loss attributable to personal error. The system offered suggested language. Clean. Complete. He scrolled back up and read the report once more. This time, he read it as a story. A soldier failed. A system responded. Civilians were corrected. A story without villains. Without cruelty. Only procedure. The door slid open behind him. Major Len Voss entered without announcement. No rush. No hesitation. He stood at Ethan's shoulder and looked at the screen. You understand what this does, Voss said. Ethan nodded. If you submit this, Voss continued, the matter narrows. The filtration device becomes a logistical loss. The civilian becomes incidental. Ethan did not answer. You will not be cleared later. Voss said, there is no appeal path. I know. Voss waited. He was good at waiting. Ethan placed his hand on the console. His fingers hovered. He thought of the file that would follow him. Marked. Incomplete. No front-line assignments. No commendations were stored. He would become a footnote. If that. The cursor blinked. Ethan typed his name. The system requested confirmation. He paused, then continued. I accept responsibility for the loss, he said aloud as he typed. Not for the system. For himself. The words appeared. Formal. Irreversible. He signed. The screen dimmed briefly, then refreshed. Attribution locked. Voss exhaled once, quietly. This stabilizes the area, Voss said. Hydra line will accept a reduced response. They will not escalate. And Asha, Ethan said. She becomes a labor compliance case. Voss replied, not a criminal. Ethan nodded. Your record, Voss continued, will not recover. I did not expect it to. Voss studied him. Not with curiosity. With calculation. You could have waited, Voss said. There were other paths. Paths for me, Ethan said. Silence returned. Voss straightened. You will be reassigned, he said. Away from this zone. Away from visibility. Ethan looked up at him. I accept being removed, he said. Voss turned toward the door. Just before it opened, Ethan spoke once more. I accept being erased, as long as they are not erased. Voss stopped. He did not turn around. After a moment, he spoke. The system prefers fewer variables, he said. This gives it that. The door opened. Then closed. Ethan remained seated. The room felt smaller now. Not because of walls. Because of what had been taken. He did not feel proud. He did not feel clean. But somewhere beyond the filters and the glass, water would flow again. That was enough. The notice arrived without ceremony. Asha heard it read aloud by a tired clerk who did not look at her. The words were plain. Administrative adjustment for civilian safety. A temporary water access point would be established near the village. Minimum output. Monitored. No mention of names. No apology. By late afternoon, the wind shifted. Dust moved aside as if making room. Men from Hydra Line worked quickly. They avoided eye contact. They avoided explanations. By dusk, a small outlet stood where dry ground had split before. A short pipe. A narrow channel. Water flowed. Not fast. Not generous. But steady. Asha watched from a distance. She did not step forward first. No one knelt. That was the change. One by one, villagers approached with containers. No chanting. No gratitude demanded. The water filled the first cup and spilled over. Clear. Unremarkable. Asha felt the tension leave her shoulders. Slowly. Hours later, when the crowd thinned, she brought the children forward. The youngest stared at the stream as if it might vanish. Asha placed her hand over his and guided the cup. Slow, she said. She poured by count, the way she always had. Equal sips. No exceptions. The eldest watched closely. Asha handed her the cup next. You do it, she said. The girl hesitated, then nodded. She counted aloud, careful, serious. When the cup was empty, she stopped. No one asked for more. As night settled, a vehicle waited at the edge of the clearing. Ethan stood beside it, hands free, posture neutral. He did not approach the water. Asha met him halfway. They did not touch. The air between them carried the sound of the stream. They will keep it open, Ethan said, as long as it stays quiet. Asha nodded. They will watch, she said. Yes. Silence returned. I won't be here, Ethan said. I know. He glanced toward the children. They will be all right, he said. Asha followed his gaze. They will learn, she said, how to count, how to wait, how to share. Ethan smiled once. Small. Contained. By the time the stars rose, the vehicle's lights dimmed. Ethan turned to leave. Asha did not call after him. She went back to the children instead. She knelt beside the eldest and corrected her grip on the cup. Not firmly. Just enough. Again, she said. The water flowed on. Not enough to end the drought. Enough to pass the night. As the hours stretched toward dawn, Asha watched the children sleep. Their cups were lined in order. Empty. Clean. She did not think of victory. She thought of balance. Somewhere beyond the ridge, systems adjusted and reports closed. Here, a small stream crossed dry ground. It was not a miracle. It was enough. The water did not end the drought. It did not erase the system that had caused it. But for 5 children, it meant one more morning without fear. For Asha, it meant standing upright while she poured. For Ethan, it meant disappearing so others could remain. Some debts are not paid with victory. They are paid with choices that leave no monument behind. If this story moved you, take a moment to like it, share it with someone who listens closely, and subscribe to the channel. More stories like this are waiting, and your support is what keeps them flowing.